Yeah, I mean, I think that's the not racing certainty, but that's the highest likelihood. I think the odds are that she will find a way to do some kind of deal over Northern Ireland and the other remaining issues with the European. You see today that Michel Barnier, the European negotiator, is making conciliatory noises about the Northern Irish backstop. The question is, can she then escape without having some kind of leadership challenge and get this through the House of Commons on double quick timing, because they really are running out of time?
It was quite tricky, really, when we talk about the Brexiteers looking at this amendment, if you will, that would effectively make an EU plan on the Irish border issue illegal. I mean, this puts her in a very difficult position, doesn't it, given that Theresa May needs the support of the DUP? I
mean, she has a very weak position. She needs her minority coalition partners. She needs the 70 or 80 Brexiteers in Parliament, and she's stuck with a weak negotiating position against the European. The only lucky thing she has is that so far her domestic opponents have been fairly incompetent and not willing to wield the knife, and so that in a sense is what she's hoping for. She'll keep nudging and trying to move this a little bit further forward and assume that her opponents don't have the guts to take her down.
If we look at what's happening with the pound trade at the moment, though, below that 130 level, it seems to me investors are quite nervous about the prospect of a leadership struggle. If in fact Prime Minister May does lose her position, I mean, what then happens? Do you think she really can be ousted before this Brexit timeline? It just seems ever so close now.
I mean, I think the odds are against that happening, because to have a leadership challenge before perhaps an emergency summit in November or the European Council meeting in December, it leaves only a few months to get legislation through Parliament. And I think whoever might wield the knife will calculate that in the end it's probably better to wait and let May own this mess as it goes through. But it's a very volatile situation. She can always begin to make mistakes. If she appears to be weak, someone might decide that the time is now for them to strike. And so you've seen a real change in tone this week. Last week and the week before, you weren't hearing people talk about leadership challenges. This week you are. So clearly rumblings are afoot and people are thinking about this much more seriously.
And one of the concerns about a leadership challenge is who comes next. If we get a Brexiteer, perhaps among the most prominent of them, Boris Johnson, I mean, what are the odds that he can come see eye to eye with officials in Brussels?
I mean, I think the odds of Boris becoming leader are pretty slim now. I think he's missed his chance. There has been talk of a caretaker leader. I think that's also fairly ridiculous. I think the most likely is it would be a moderate Brexiteer, somebody we probably haven't thought of, like Sajid Javid, the Home Secretary. Nonetheless, the person who does this is going to have to be very brave. And so, as I say, I think the odds are that she stumbles on, but the question is, does she have the votes? You can do a deal with Europe before the end of the year. You can rush through legislation, but you still have to get this thing through the House of Commons, and it's not clear that she has the votes to do that.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.